Hi guys, we're going to chat today about the sometimes a little tricky why are you looking to leave your job or why did you leave your job? If you like my content, please like. If you want to comment below, please comment. And if you like my overall content, please subscribe. So, in all scenarios, and we'll talk through those in a second, you really want to focus on four key concepts. One, everything is positive, just that positive pitch, tone, right? The words you use, keep everything positive. A strong focus, secondly, on what you've learned and backing that up with examples and how that's really helped you in your career and how you've grown through the learning. Third is you're always going to bring it back to the company, why you're a great match for not only the position, but the organization. And this is kind of the tip that you need to continue to focus on throughout the interviews. Always be bringing it back to your strengths and how they align to the position and the overall company. I mean, this is where candidates have success. Tie it back, tie it back, tie it back. I'm very repetitive in that space, but it's what success looks like. And then lastly, prepare. Don't try and wing it. Don't go in thinking that you can answer these questions on the cuff. Really take the time, prepare. It will really increase your success rate. So, four scenarios. They're pretty standard, right? You're currently with your company and you're looking for a new role. You've left your job for professional or personal reasons. If they are personal, be brief. Really think about what you want to say and how much information you want to give that person, but less is more. The third scenario is you've been laid off, and then the fourth scenario that we'll discuss, and we'll save this one to the end, is you've unfortunately been fired. So let's talk about scenario one. Uh, and so scenario one is you're currently with your employer. So you get this question, again, you're just going to really sing the positives, all the wonderful things, what you've learned, your growth opportunity, and sometimes you'll bring in those great examples of backing up your learnings. So the second piece is a good tie-in, especially if it's the same role in the same industry. Let's say you're a software engineer going from one tech company to another. You really want to, first of all, if you know anybody there, talk about who you know and the great things they've said. Sometimes you won't know anybody at the company, so you can sing the praises of the mission statement of the organization or the articles you've read about their tech or their culture, etc. So you're starting off with talking about what you've learned at your current company, and then you're singing the praises of this company. And then lastly, again, you're tying in why this specific position is a fit for you and your strengths. And so if you tie all three of those together, you're not going to spend a long time talking about why you're looking to leave your current employer. With all these scenarios, expect and be prepared for follow-up questions, obviously. Uh, the second one is you left your employer. Again, you're going to follow those three steps of talking about what you learned at your last employer, what interests you in this company, and why you're a great fit for the position and overall organization. The two additional items when you have actively decided to leave a job is one, you really want to focus on the positivity of timing. You left and you left the company in a great scenario where there were a couple new employees trained up. You gave ample time to make sure that the transition was smooth. So you really want to focus on not only the timing and why that was a good time for you to leave, but that you left the company in a good place. And then, secondly, it's really important to think about and focus on what you've learned since you left. Maybe you took some classes, maybe you did some travel, maybe you did items that make you overall a more well-rounded potential employee for this organization. So those are two real differentiators that you just really need to be thinking about before you go in. If you've been out of work for 6 months and you can't talk about anything you've learned or done in that time, it's going to be a huge deterrent. So really focus in on what you've learned. And if you haven't done anything earth-shattering, just talk about how you've improved yourself in any way. And that could even be personal items like doing community service, those types of things. That will help you have success. The third item, the layoff scenario. with layoffs, it's good to be specific, but brief as well. So the specifics are how many rounds, if you know, how many people got laid off, if you know, and the reason for the layoff in your own words, the way you understand it, just so you're giving some context as to why it happened. And then you're going to take that first step of reflecting back positively and being grateful for everything that you've learned, why this company excites you, and again, why the position is a great fit. Repetition is intentional, by the way. And then lastly, I think it's okay to kind of put a personal note of reflecting on the layoff and saying, layoffs, this layoff in particular was outside of my control, and I understand that. And the only thing I can do is look at it positively and move on. And that's why I'm here today, because I'm super excited about this opportunity. That is a fantastic transition for the layoff, and also a great transition for our last item, which is you've been fired. Um, this one, it actually is much scarier to the person that's been fired than it is to your potential employer if you handle it in the right way. So you want to talk very high level about what happened and use positive words such as the organization decided to go in another direction, or we determined that this role was not aligning with my strengths or my skills. Keep it very high level, very positive. Be prepared if they want to dig in a little bit, but you always will flip positive and what you learned and focus on that. And then it's okay to say, this was a great experience for me, because if I looked at the negative of being let go, I wouldn't be a great potential employee for you. But I took the time to reflect back on what I've learned. And what I learned is these are the areas where my strengths are. And that's why I'm here interviewing for this position, because this role really aligns with what I'm looking for. This theme is so consistent and so easy, and being fired doesn't need to be a scary thing. If you read any articles, some of the most successful, profitable people in the world, some of the happiest people in the world have been fired multiple times because they pushed the envelope. So don't worry about it. Just go in with that positive attitude and you'll do great. I think the one item is really expect these follow-up questions. So Google it, do your research, because there's a fantastic chance that not everything you say is just going to be a smile and a nod. There's going to be follow-up. So just be prepared for those follow-up questions. And if you follow the themes that I mentioned, you're going to do awesome. Again, if you like my content, please like. If you have any comments, would love to see more comments on topics you would like me to discuss. And then if you like the overall content, please subscribe. Have a great day. Thanks.